Nangshuan Shenzhou, Spiritual Realm, Hankin Empire, Gu Family. Gu Chongqing looked at the Gu family courtyard where people were coming and going, mostly young people in groups of 3 or 5. He, however, was leaning against the wall alone, looking a little out of place. It had been 17 years since Gu Chongqing traveled to Tianshuan continent, and Gu Chongqing was also 17 years old. Body forging, true spirit, catastrophe, king realm, emperor, venerable, emperor realm. This was the cultivation system of Tianshuan continent. There were higher levels above the emperor realm, but it was not something Gu Chongqing could touch. In the Hanqin Empire, the catastrophe realm was considered a strong person. Most of the elders of the major sects were at this level. As for the king realm, it was the level of the ancestors of the major sects. Gu Chongqing started practicing at the age of 5. He never dared to slack off in his cultivation. Among his peers, Gu Chongqing worked harder than anyone else. Now he is 17 years old, and he is at the first level of the true spirit. Looking at the entire young generation of the Gu family, no one can compare to him. But looking at the entire Han and Qin Empire, or even the entire spirit realm, he is just a drop in the ocean, a grain of dust, inconspicuous and insignificant. I am ashamed of you seniors who travel through time. Other travelers are born with supreme bones and chaos bodies, and they often have a grandfather or a golden finger system. As for me, I have nothing. There is no trace of any system or golden finger. Forget it. It's good to live a plain life like this. He said it was good, but there was still a hint of unwillingness in his tone. But no matter how unwilling he was, it was useless, and he could only accept his fate. Young master, someone from the Zhang family is here, and the head of the family wants you to go over. A servant appeared beside Gu Chongqing and bowed. Zhang family. Gu Chongqing was stunned. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot that I didn't have nothing. At least I had a cheap wife. Zhang family. Zhang Baiwei. Zhang family is different from Gu family. Gu family is just a small town on the border of Hanqin Empire. But Zhang family is one of the 3 great families of Hanqin Empire, with no less than 5 king-level strongmen among them. The ancestor of Zhang family is even more powerful in Hanqin, and is called Zhang Tianwang by the world. He is a perfect king-level existence, half a foot into the level of God King. King realm is divided into 3 realms: Xuanwang, Tianwang, and Shenwang. Tianwang level strongmen are already at the top of the pyramid of Hanqin Empire. One side is one of the 3 great families of Hanqin Empire. One is a family in a small town on the border of Hanqin Empire. The strongest person is Gu Chongqing's father, Gu Yuan, the 6th calamity of the calamity realm. 2 families that seem to have nothing to do with each other, but they have an extraordinary origin. Gu family ancestors had an extremely glorious period. At that time, the Gu family was full of strong men, and was one of the holy clans in the spiritual realm, with many divine emperors and heavenly masters. At that time, the Zhang family was just one of the many vassal forces of the Gu family, but that was tens of thousands of years ago. Times have changed. 8,000 years ago, the Gu family encountered a great crisis. All the top strongmen died, and most of the clan's skills and treasures were destroyed. Only fragments remain. Since then, the Gu family began to decline gradually. The Gu family has not produced a great man above the emperor. The blood power of the Gu family is getting weaker and weaker. Until today, the blood power of the Gu family can hardly be sensed and is close to disappearing. There is only one way to rekindle the blood power. Someone in the Gu family can advance to the realm of the emperor. But for the already declining Gu family, how difficult is it? The ancestors of the Gu family did not fail to try. More than 3,000 years ago, the Gu family gambled all their resources and tried to cultivate an emperor. But unfortunately, they failed. One of the former overlords of the spiritual realm has completely declined and gradually been forgotten. Today's Gu family is just a family in a small border town of the Han and Qin Empire. It is only supported by Gu Chongqing's father, Gu Yuan, a 6th level calamity realm strongman, which is a pity. On the contrary, the Zhang family, a vassal of the former Gu family, has produced many talented people for hundreds of years. After the birth of King Zheng 100 years ago, it reached its peak. Today, King Zheng is only one step away from the realm of the God King. Once he breaks through, even the Han and Qin royal family will have to give way to the Zhang family. Since the death of the last king of the Gu family, the contact between the Zhang family and the Gu family has become less and less. No matter how glorious the Gu family was in the past, that was in the past. Today's Gu family is just a small family without even a king. It is normal for the Zhang family, which is now in its heyday, to look down on the Gu family. The reason why they are willing to marry Zhang Baiwei, the daughter of the clan leader, to Gu Chongqing is not because of the past feeling, but because the Zhang family owes the Gu family. This is a debt that has been owed for hundreds of years. For hundreds of years, the Gu family has never mentioned this favor, and has never used it, until recently. Seeing that none of the 4 generations of the Gu family had the potential to impact the tribulation realm, seeing this situation, Gu Chongqing's father Gu Yuan finally became anxious. If this continues, let alone rising, I'm afraid the Gu family will no longer exist in a few generations. Currently, the Gu family has only Gu Yuan in the tribulation realm. Among the 3 generations, Gu Chongqing's talent is good, but it's just good. In the future, I'm afraid he will only reach the 9th level of the true spirit. As for impacting the tribulation realm, it's very difficult. That's why this marriage happened. Son, the future of my Gu family depends on you. Your father has found you a good wife, the daughter of the head of the Zhang family. For her, I use the favors that the ancestors of the Zhang family owed to my Gu family. Give birth hard, give birth to dozens of him. This was the original words of Gu Changqing's father at the time. Giving birth to dozens of children? My goodness, this is treating oneself like an animal. After listening to the servant, Gu Changqing also stood up and prepared to go to the reception hall. But just as he stood up, he suddenly felt an inexplicable pain in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host, awakening the many children and many blessing system. Gu Changqing. This pleasant ding. Gu Changqing looked forward to it from childhood to adulthood. But it never sounded. Now it actually rang. Gu Changqing felt like a dream, feeling a little unreal. Fuck, my system is finally here. It's not easy, but this is a little too late, isn't it? I am 17 years old, and I have spent 17 years in this world. But what is this? Many children and many blessing system. Gu Changqing looked at the function of the system carefully and understood it. The system has only one function. That is to make babies. The higher the talent of the child born, the higher the reward Gu Changqing can get. In addition, there is an achievement system. The 10th, the 100th, the 1000th will all have corresponding achievement rewards. Gu Changqing finally knew why the system did not appear earlier or later, but appeared when he was about to get married and have children. If he had known this, Gu Changqing would have told his father that he was going to get married and have children when he was 10. Oh no, 10 is a bit exaggerated. He would have told his father that he was going to get married and have children when he was 15. By the way, system. Other systems have novice gift packages. You should have one too. Yes. A simple word made Gu Changqing smile. It is detected that the host has 3 random gift packs for novices that have not been opened. Do you want to open them? Open. P.S. Realm Division. Body Forging 1st to 9th level. True Spirit 1st to 9th level. Disaster Realm 1st to 9th level. King Realm Xuanwang. Tianwang. Shenwang. Emperor Xuanhuang. Tianhuang. Shenhuang. Shenghuang. Venerable Xuanzun. Tianzun. Shengzun. Daozun. Great Emperor Xuan Emperor. Tianhuang. Shenghuang. Daijun. Saint. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have obtained the Imperial Level Mental Method Taishuan Sutra. Open the second one. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have obtained the Imperial Level Alchemy Method Dandy Heart Sutra. Fuck! When he saw the 2 items he opened, Gu Changqing couldn't help but wow in his heart. 2 martial arts, and both are Imperial level. No wonder Gu Changqing was so excited. What do the 2 words Emperor level mean? Man, Earth, Sky, King, Emperor, Venerable, Emperor. This is the level division of martial arts in this world. The main mental method of the Gu family now. The fragment of the Gu family's mental method is a low-level, king-level mental method. This is already very good. After all, it was passed down from the ancestors. Although it is a fragment, it is also ranked king level. You know, in many king level forces, the main mental method is only king level. The Gu family does not have a king level strongman, but has a king level mental method, even tens of thousands of years ago. When the Gu family was at its peak, the complete version of the Gu family's mental method was only at the venerable level. This means that the 2 skills that Gu Changqing has now obtained are 1 level higher than the venerable level skills that the Gu family of the Holy Clan practiced at their peak. The Imperial level skills are the supreme skills that can only exist in the Imperial Court of the Emperor. Originally, Gu Changqing still had some resentment in his heart about the system appearing so late. But now, all the resentment and dissatisfaction have been swept away. It has given too much. Gu Changqing looked carefully at the 2 skills that were placed in the system space. Taichuan Sutra, created by Emperor Zhuan, has a total of 4 chapters. Every time you complete a chapter, the speed of absorbing spiritual power and the speed of cultivation will increase greatly. Dandy Heart Sutra, created by Qingmu Dandy, records Qingmu Dandy's lifelong learning and his unique alchemy method. It also records the recipes of all the pills that Qingmu Dandy has refined. Gu Changqing took a quick look and found all kinds of recipes, and many of them were already lost. Open the 3rd gift bag. Gu Changqing didn't plan to keep the last gift bag. Ding! Congratulations to the host. Your luck has exploded. You won the Immortal level technique, the Immortal Sword Formation. Immortal level, Immortal Sword Formation. After opening 2 Emperor level techniques in a row, according to the law of conservation of luck, I guess I won't be able to draw anything good next time. But who would have thought that the 3rd time I drew something? Not only was it not worse than the previous 2 times, but it was even more awesome. Immortal level. The highest level of technique that Gu Changqing knew was the Emperor level. Could this Immortal level be above the Emperor level? Above the Emperor level is the Saint level, and above the Saint level is the Immortal level. The system's voice suddenly sounded and corrected. Good guy. No wonder even the system has a special prompt. This is really an explosion of luck? The Jushin sword formation that he had drawn in the 3rd draw was actually such a heaven-defying existence? Immortal level sword formation? According to the system, the Jushin sword formation was created by Kangwu Immortal King. Kangwu Immortal King once used this sword formation to defeat the Immortal Emperor with the realm of the Immortal King. The higher the grade of the spiritual swords that make up the formation, the stronger the killing power. Gu Changqing just felt a little dizzy. What Immortal King and Immortal Emperor? The highest realm he knew was just the Emperor realm, but it is certain that the Immortal King and Immortal Emperor must be much higher than the Emperor realm. immortal level sword formation. With this set of sword formations, what great world prodigies, what sons of the supreme destiny, who are of the same level or even a few levels higher than himself, can they withstand in his Juxian sword formation for a few breaths? Master. The servant's words brought Gu Changqing back to reality. With a dry cough, Gu Changqing knew that now was not the time to think about the 3 exercises. Someone from the Zhang family came to discuss the wedding, so he went there first. Following the servants, he soon came to the reception room. Before entering the door, Gu Changqing felt that the atmosphere was a little wrong. His father, Gu Yuan, was sitting on the main seat at the moment, and his face was not very good. It was agreed that it was Zhang Baiwei, but now it has become Zhang Liangxin. I'm afraid it's not good. Where is Patriarch Zhang? This matter was decided by him and me. How can it be changed at will? I'll go find him. The elder of the Zhang family shook his head and said, Patriarch Gu should stop making trouble. This is what the patriarch meant. Why didn't he come to tell me in person? Should he send you? Gu Yuan sneered. The current patriarch of the Zhang family has 2 daughters. The eldest daughter Zhang Baiwei and the second daughter Zhang Liangxin. If it was the former Zhang Liangxin, Gu Yuan would have been willing. But now Zhang Liangxin was just a useless person who needed servants to take care of her even when she was getting up, sleeping, and dressing. Zhang Liangxin was the most evil genius in the Zhang family for thousands of years. She was born with spiritual bones. As long as she didn't die young, she would have the hope of reaching the realm of the emperor in the future. Zhang Liangxin had been a genius since she was born. From that moment on, she received the best training from the Zhang family. Countless resources were poured into her, and she did not disappoint the Zhang family. She forged her body at the age of 6, had a true spirit at the age of 10, and stepped into the realm of tribulation at the age of 16. At the age of only 16, she stepped into the realm of tribulation that countless people would find difficult to step into in their lifetime. This talent is nothing short of a monster. You should know that the strongest person in the Gu family, the head of the family, Gu Yuan, who is also Gu Changqing's father, is only at the 6th level of the realm of tribulation. But not long after she stepped into the realm of tribulation, a big thing happened. Something that changed Zhang Liangxin's life. When she was training outside, she encountered a saint from the Kanglan Holy Land outside the empire. The saint took the initiative to challenge Zhang Liangxin, but was defeated by Zhang Liangxin with a crushing momentum. The saint didn't say anything, but her protector attacked Zhang Liangxin directly on the grounds that Zhang Liangxin's attack was too heavy. No matter how evil Zhang Liangxin was, he was only in the tribulation realm. How could he be a match for the protector who had reached the heavenly king realm? Zhang Liangxin was severely injured with just one blow. His spirit bones were shattered and he was seriously injured as a genius with high hopes from the Zhang family. Zhang Liangxin naturally had a protector, but how could he compare with the protector of Kanglan Holy Land? Although Zhang Liangxin's protector was also a king, he was only in the early stage of Xuan King. In the king realm, the gap between each realm is huge, such as between Xuan King and Heavenly King, and even more so between Heavenly King and God King. In front of the Heavenly King realm strongman, the Xuan King of the Zhang family had no resistance at all, and the Kanglan Saintess saw all this, but did not stop it, allowing her protector to cripple Zhang Liangxin. Since then, Zhang Liangxin, the most brilliant and dazzling prodigy of the Zhang family, has become a cripple, which has made countless people sigh. Facing the giant Kanglan Holy Land from outside the empire, the Zhang family dared not complain even if they hated and were angry. Kanglan Holy Land is too powerful. There is more than one emperor, not to mention the Zhang family. The entire Hanshin Empire is like an ant in front of Kanglan Holy Land. Not worth mentioning. Regarding the broken spiritual bones of Zhang Liangxin, the Zhang family has tried hard. King Zhang even went outside the empire in person to seek medical treatment from various alchemists, including alchemists of the 4th grade Dan King level. But there was no way to treat Zhang Liangxin's injuries. The broken spiritual bones can only be repaired by a Tianzun Great Emperor or a Danzun level alchemist. But whether it is Danzun or Tianzun Great Emperor, they are not something that the Zhang family, a small imperial family, can contact. It is impossible to even meet them, let alone ask for help from such beings. So, they can only accept their fate. Zhang Liangxin, who is regarded as the hope of the future rise by the Zhang family, was abandoned. This incident was also a great blow to King Zhang. After that day, King Zhang announced that he would be in seclusion and no longer care about the affairs of the clan. Gu Yuan sighed, although he sympathized with Zhang Liangxin's experience. It did not mean that he was willing to let her marry. What Gu Yuan wanted was a woman who could help the Gu family and continue the inheritance. Zhang Liangxin's heartbone was broken, and her talent was not even as good as that of ordinary people. How much higher could the talent of the child she gave birth to be? But Zhang Baiwei was different. Although Zhang Baiwei's talent was far less than that of Zhang Liangxin in the past, she was many times stronger than Zhang Liangxin now. Among the younger generation of the Zhang family, Zhang Baiwei was undoubtedly the most talented person. The Zhang family suddenly regretted it, and I am afraid there must be a reason. Gu Yuan was silent for a moment. Can you tell me the reason? The reason why the Zhang family suddenly regretted it? The elder of the Zhang family shook his head. You will know it in the future. After saying that, the elder of the Zhang family stood up and walked out. After a while, he disappeared in the living room of the Gu family. In the living room, all the senior members of the Gu family were filled with grief and indignation, and so was Gu Yuan. but there was nothing they could do. The Gu family today does not have the qualifications to negotiate with the Zhang family. Even if the Zhang family does not recognize the favor of the past, what can the Gu family do? Things are different now. The Zhang family is now just a small family, without even a Xuan king. Gu Yuan lay back in his chair, and the whole person seemed to have suddenly aged a few years. Forget it. Forget it. At this time, Gu Changqing just came in, looking at his son. Gu Yuan smiled bitterly. Kinger, you've seen it too. The Zhang family is probably unwilling to marry Zhang Baiwei to us, and only wants to give us Zhang Liangxin. It's my father who is useless. If you don't want to, this marriage will be cancelled. I'll find another wife for you later. Zhang Liangxin, who is unknown to the younger generation of the Han and Qin empires. How many young talents in the past? The dream goddess of the aristocratic family, with a stunning appearance, like a fairy walking out of a painting, with a talent that is unique to the world, Zhou Empire. But now he is just a useless person. As the eldest son of the Gu family, no matter how bad he is, he will not fall to marrying a useless person. At this time, Gu Changqing's attention is not on his father, but on the virtual frame in front of him. List of potential wives: Zhang Baiwei, Wu Earth Spirit Body, purple 2nd grade. The eldest daughter of the Zhang family head, Zhang Meng, martial arts genius, green 9th grade. The daughter of the 2nd elder of the Zhang family, Zhang Qingqing. Mediocre qualifications, white 6th grade. Zhang family side branch concubine, Zhang Liangxin. Xuanbing, holy bone gold 1st grade. Broken. Can be repaired? Repair pills. Taichun bone refining pill. Judu Shengu pill. Tianhun Rongshu pill. Golden qualification. Gu Changqing was shocked. Regarding the rating of qualification, the system has introduced them. From low to high. Black, white, green, blue, purple, orange, gold, and red. Each color is divided into 9 small grades from low to high, from grade 1 to grade 9. Generally speaking, purple talent has the potential to impact the emperor, orange talent has the potential to impact the venerable. As for gold, the posture of the emperor. Guigi! This Zhang family completely underestimated Zhang Liangxin's talent. They mistakenly thought that what she had in her body was spiritual bone. But they didn't know that it was holy bone that was above spiritual bone. As long as the holy bone does not fall, there is hope to impact the emperor in the future. Spiritual bone and holy bone. It seems that there is only one word difference, but the gap is huge. Spiritual bone is only expected to impact the emperor, while holy bone is expected to become the emperor. Dad! Gu Changqing interrupted his father excitedly. He can actually marry a future empress. Zhang family. You changed your mind well, and changed people brilliantly. Directly exchanged for a future empress. We have agreed that no one should go back on their word. Whoever goes back on their word will be a grandson. Although Zhang Liangxin's Xuanbing sacred bone is currently in a broken state, this is not a problem for Gu Changqing, who possesses the Dan Emperor Heart Sutra. The system even considerately lists a large number of elixirs that can repair Xuanbing sacred bone for Gu Changqing, although most of them have been lost. It doesn't matter. There is a recipe for the elixir in the Dan Emperor Heart Sutra. A lost recipe for the elixir. As long as you can find the medicinal materials, you can refine it yourself. Gu Wen was startled by Gu Changqing's voice, which suddenly rose by several decibels. Could it be that his son was stimulated by the Zhang family's reneging on their word just now? Just as he wanted to show some concern and comfort, Gu Changqing couldn't wait to speak first. If you agree to the Zhang family, you will marry Zhang Liangxin. I don't want anyone else. Gu Yuan frowned. Kinger. But Zhang Liangxin is a waste. Dad. Gu Changqing stared at his father with determination in his eyes. It was impossible to tell his father about the existence of the system. Gu Changqing could only do his best to let Zhang Liangxin marry into the Gu family and become his wife. Well, then Zhang Liangxin. At this time, Gu Changqing almost understood why the Zhang family suddenly regretted it. Wu Earth Spirit Body? Wu Earth Spirit Body is a purple qualification and has the potential to impact the Emperor. Wu Earth Spirit Body is a spiritual body that awakens after birth. After birth, as it grows step by step. There is a probability that it will awaken, but there is also a probability that it will never awaken. This Zhang Baiwei is probably the Wu Earth Spirit Body that has only awakened recently. It is no wonder that the Zhang family suddenly changed their minds. If Zhang Baiwei did not awaken the Wu Earth Spirit Body, then with her qualifications, she would at most be able to impact the King realm in the future. But awakening the Wu Earth Spirit Body, that means she has the potential to impact the Emperor. In the eyes of the Zhang family, compared with Zhang Liangxin at the beginning, it is not much different. How could they let her go? Zhang family, I really have to thank you very much. Zhang Baiwei didn't come, but Zhang Liangxin, who has golden qualification, came. Gu Changqing was so moved. Look at the Zhang family. They are the real kind people. They were afraid that they would marry someone with insufficient talent. So they gave themselves a female emperor with the appearance of a great emperor. But then again, if Zhang Liangxin had stayed in the Zhang family, it is estimated that the Xuanbing holy body in her body would be difficult to repair in her lifetime. So for Zhang Liangxin, isn't it an opportunity? When Gu Changqing saw Zhang Liangxin's qualification, he even thought of the name of their child. Gu Changqing couldn't believe how amazing the baby he and Zhang Liangxin would have in the future. Although his talent is average, his wife's qualifications are awesome. Golden holy body. And with the existence of the system, his current qualifications are not very good. But in the future, they will definitely be good. At that time, if Zhang Liangxin and I had any child, I'm afraid the child would have the qualities of a great emperor. In the eastern part of the Han Qin Empire, the Zhang family was thousands of miles away from the Gu family. In an elegant courtyard sat a beautiful girl, her eyes like water, sitting quietly on a stone chair in the pavilion in the pond, staring at the fish swimming in the pond, with a little sadness and desolation in her eyes. The girl's name was Zhang Liangxin. She was once the most dazzling daughter of the Zhang family. Now, she is a useless person who needs the help of servants to walk. Tap. The sound of footsteps broke the tranquility here. The visitor was also a woman. Although her beauty was not as stunning as Zhang Liangxin, she was also a real beauty, and her appearance was somewhat similar to Zhang Liangxin. Zhang Liangxin turned around and was stunned for a moment when she saw the visitor, but soon regained her composure. She thought it was a servant who came to help her back to her room, but it was not a servant who came, but her half-sister, Zhang Baiwei, Zhang Yongkong. The current patriarch of the Zhang family is also the father of Zhang Liangxin and Zhang Baiwei. Zhang Liangxin's mother was Zhang Yongkong's third wife, and died shortly after giving birth to her. Zhang Baiwei's mother was from the second wife. Although the two sisters are sisters, they have not had a good relationship since childhood. Zhang Liangxin has a cold personality and is devoted to cultivation. She has few friends, and Zhang Baiwei has been jealous of Zhang Liangxin since she was a child. She was jealous that her father favored her more, that all the resources in the family were tilted towards her, that she was jealous of her beauty, her talent, and everything about her. Jealousy made her unrecognizable. Looking at the somewhat sad girl, Zhang Baiwei felt extremely happy in her heart. She had been waiting for this day for a long time. The head of the family has decided to marry you to that loser from the Gu family. The former Zhang family's #1 genius, the dream goddess of countless people, is going to marry the young master of a small and declining family. How ironic. In fact, although Gu Changqing is not a genius, he is definitely not a loser. It's just that in Zhang Baiwei's eyes, calling the young master of a small border town family a loser is a compliment. Any direct descendant of the Zhang family is far more talented than him. Zhang Liangxin was not angry at being ridiculed by her own sister, and there was no ripple in her beautiful eyes. So you came here to make fun of me? If so, there is no need. I am just a useless person now. A useless person who needs to be taken care of for food and clothing? Mocking a useless person will not give you much sense of accomplishment. Zhang Baiwei raised the corner of her mouth slightly. How can you think like this? My dear sister, I am here to thank you. If you hadn't become a useless person overnight, it might really be me, Zhang Baiwei, who would marry that useless person from the Gu family. You say, should I thank you well? But then again, a useless person and a useless person are a perfect match. Zhang Liangxin looked at her. You're welcome. Zhang Liangxin, you must be very unwilling in your heart, right? The former first genius of the Zhang family, the daughter of the patriarch, is now going to marry the young master of a small border town. A useless person who is not even as good as any of the direct descendants of my Zhang family. Zhang Baiwei's beautiful face gradually became distorted. The calmer Zhang Liangxin was, the more unhappy she was. This was not what she wanted to see. Zhang Liangxin continued to lean against the stone pillar and looked at the fish in the pond. There is nothing to be unwilling about. Now I am just a useless person. A useless person who needs someone to support me even when walking. What qualifications do I have to look down on others? It is a blessing that others do not look down on me. In the next few days, the Gu family and the Zhang family completely decided on the marriage, and the wedding was a week later. The Gu family immediately began to make arrangements. In these days, Gu Changqing was not idle either while practicing. He also did not forget to think about the matter of reshaping Zhang Liangxin's sacred bones. There are many elixirs that can reshape Zhang Liangxin's sacred bones in the Dan Emperor Heart Sutra, but most of the medicinal materials for the elixir are very precious. Not to mention a small family like the Gu family, even a large family like the Zhang family, which ranks at the top of the Han and Qin Empire, cannot gather them together. Fortunately, there is always a way out. After searching for a long time, Gu Changqing finally found a reshaped holy medicine called Qishuan Fuling Pill. Qishuan Fuling Pill was created by Qingmu Dandi. It is a 4th level pill, but the main medicine, medicine guide, and auxiliary medicine required for refining are only 3rd level. It is almost impossible to refine a 4th level elixir without a 4th level medicinal material as the main medicine. However, in the hands of Qingmu Dandi, it has become possible, and the 3 medicinal materials required are not too precious. Gu Changqing immediately sent people to look for it. In terms of cultivation, Gu Changqing has made great progress in recent days. In less than 7 days, he has broken through several realms, from the original True Spirit level 1 to breaking through to the 4th level of the True Spirit, breaking through 3 levels in a row. Gu Changqing was stunned. Is this the Emperor level technique? However, what Gu Changqing didn't know was that Emperor Xuan was not an ordinary great emperor. How could the technique he created be an ordinary emperor level technique? Just by initially cultivating the first chapter, his speed of absorbing spiritual power was dozens or even dozens of times faster than before. It is hard to imagine how amazing Gu Changqing's cultivation speed will be when the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th chapters are cultivated. In addition, Gu Changqing also initially mastered the Juxian sword formation. The 4 swords that made up the sword formation were a bit rubbish. 1 3rd level, 3 2nd level, but these were the 4 best swords Gu Changqing could find. A day ago, Gu Changqing went out of the city specifically to test the power of the Juxian sword formation. The result left Gu Changqing dumbfounded. As soon as the sword formation came out, Gu Changqing felt that he was the master of this world. Gu Changqing, who was in the sword formation, felt that he could easily defeat his father. A 3rd level calamity expert in the calamity realm? Too exaggerated. It was much more exaggerated than the increase brought to him by the Taishuan Sutra. Without the Juxian sword formation, Gu Changqing might be able to fight with a strongman who was 1 or 2 realms higher than him with the Taishuan Sutra. But if he was too much higher, such as facing a strongman in the calamity realm, even if he was only a 1st level calamity expert in the calamity realm, Gu Changqing would be killed instantly. The gap between the realms is not so easy to cross, and Gu Changqing has only initially practiced the 1st chapter of the Taishuan Sutra. But the powerful Juxian sword formation can completely make up for the so-called gap. As soon as the sword formation came out, Gu Changqing, who was in the sword formation, would not have any changes in realm. But the swordsmanship he performed would also be blessed by the sword formation. The power increased dramatically. This increase could be 200%, 500%, or 800%, or 1000%. Gu Changqing couldn't judge. The amount of power added depends on the quality of the 4 spirit swords that make up the sword formation. The Juxian sword formation, which is composed of only 1 3rd level spirit sword and 3 2nd level spirit sword, has such a terrifying power. If it is replaced with 4th level, 5th level, or 6th level, it's over. Suddenly, Gu Changqing felt so poor. If he had enough spirit stones, he could completely replace all 4 spirit swords that made up the formation base with 3rd level ones. This day was the wedding day of Gu Changqing and Zhang Liangxin. The Gu family mansion was decorated with lights and full of guests, and the layout was particularly grand. However, these guests were almost all invited by the Gu family. People from the Zhang family also arrived, but only 3 people came. That's right, 3 people. An elder of the Zhang family, a maid, and Zhang Liangxin, a total of 3 people. As for the patriarch of the Zhang family, that is Zhang Liangxin's biological father, he was not seen. From this, it can be seen that the Zhang family really didn't take this marriage very seriously. It's okay that the patriarch didn't come, and none of the senior members of the family came. Only an ordinary elder was sent at the wedding. Gu Changqing saw Zhang Liangxin and his heart moved. Really, what a peerless beauty. The surrounding Gu family members and guests were also amazed by the girl's peerless face. Many young people, thinking that Gu Changqing could actually marry such a beautiful fairy, envied him so much that they wanted to bite their back teeth to pieces. But the girl's face always had a touch of sadness, which made people feel a little sad. There was no bloody plot of marriage robbery or regret. Under the MC, Gu Changqing held Zhang Liangxin's weak and boneless little hand and worshipped her parents in heaven and earth. Everything went smoothly. But there was a small detail that Gu Changqing noticed. This injury is too serious. Yes, Gu Changqing felt it. Zhang Liangxin even had difficulty walking. When kneeling on the ground to worship, Gu Changqing could clearly feel her hands holding him tightly and shaking constantly. This was not caused by nervousness, but heart-piercing pain. I guess she must be in pain at this moment. Even so, she still didn't say a word and insisted on worshipping with Gu Changqing. After the wedding, the elders of the Zhang family did not stay for long and left directly. Zhang Liangxin's hand was held by Gu Changqing. She looked at the back of the elder of the Zhang family leaving, smiled self-deprecatingly, and looked a little lonely. Some things on her wedding today were indeed beyond her expectations. She didn't expect that her biological father would not come on her wedding day. Even if she became a cripple, she was still his biological daughter. It is said that the big families are ruthless. At this moment, Zhang Liangxin really experienced it. Once she has no value. In his eyes, she is not even as good as any direct descendant with a little potential in the family. Right? Gu Changqing noticed his wife's sadness, put his hand on her shoulder, and hugged her tightly. From now on, you will be my wife, Gu Changqing. The Zhang family doesn't want you, but I do. Zhang Liangxin turned her head and looked at the man next to her, who was going to spend her life with her. She was a little moved and slowly leaned into Gu Changqing's arms. Now she really feels abandoned by the whole world. Her biological father didn't even want to attend her wedding, and her mother had long passed away. I just hope that my husband doesn't think Leanna is troublesome. Her physical condition was very bad, and there was not much she could do for Gu Changqing, and she even needed Gu Changqing to take care of her. Although the Gu family had no shortage of servants, and she also brought a personal maid. A maid was always a maid, and it was impossible for her to be by her side all the time, which would still be inconvenient. After a long time, it was inevitable that Gu Changqing would find her troublesome. She still felt a little guilty towards Gu Changqing, although the Gu family where Gu Changqing was from was not a big family. It was still one of the best in Zhenglin City. After all, she was not even a normal person. Gu Changqing had better choices, but he chose to marry her. Her affairs spread throughout the Han and Qin empires, and Gu Changqing couldn't have been unaware of it. Even so, he was still willing to marry a useless person like her, besides being moved. She also felt a little guilty. Wedding night. Zhang Liangxin, lying on the bed, blushed. her hands grasping the corners of her clothes nervously, and her face blushed a little more when she thought of what might happen next. This was the first time she had experienced such a thing, and she didn't know what to do, and she seemed a little at a loss. But after Gu Changqing got on the bed, he just hugged her and didn't take the next step. Husband. Zhang Liangxin was a little confused. Good boy. You are weak now. It's not suitable for sex? Let's talk about this later. Zhang Liangxin looked at the man in front of her, her eyes slightly moist, since she was abandoned. It was the first time he felt the feeling of being cared for. The so-called care of his father and the elders of the clan was just about Zhang Liangxin's talent, not her as a person. And what Gu Changqing cared about was her as a person. But in the future, her body will not get better in the future. This is a lifelong thing. Sleep. It will get better. Gu Changqing rubbed his wife's head. This is not, it was a comfort. The medicinal materials that Gu Changqing had asked people to find for him these days were almost all found, as long as they were gathered. He could refine the 7 mysterious rejuvenating pill. After refining the 7 mysterious rejuvenating pill, Zhang Liangxin could reshape the holy bones. Then, it would not be too late to have sex. Moreover, Zhang Liangxin, whose holy bones were broken, was not as talented as an ordinary person. What if she got pregnant by chance? If she gave birth to a child with average talent? Would she still need the system reward? Of course. This was only one of the reasons. The main reason was that she was worried that Zhang Liangxin's body could not bear it. She was a little overwhelmed just kneeling down in the hall. Not to mention this, since the moment Zhang Liangxin married him, Gu Changqing regarded her as his wife, not just a simple reproductive tool. Gu Changqing saw the attitude of the Zhang family towards her today. Even her biological father was not present at the wedding, which shows Zhang Liangxin's situation in the Zhang family since the sacred bone was abolished. Now that she is married to the Gu family, if I don't love her, who will? If I don't love my wife, who will? Having sex is a matter of time. There is no need to rush it in 1 or 2 days. The next morning, Gu Changqing got the news that the herbs he asked the 8th elder to help find were all found. The 8th elder was named Gu Quan, who was in charge of the clan's medicine affairs. However, after buying these herbs, Gu Changqing's small treasury that he had saved for a long time was also empty. There was no way. Although Gu Changqing was the eldest son of the Gu family, he was not the head of the Gu family after all, and could not directly use the clan's treasury, so he had to pay for it himself. After taking the herbs, Gu Changqing returned to his courtyard without stopping and started to make pills. Since it was the first time to make pills, although he had the experience of Dandy Heart Sutra, for the sake of caution, Gu Changqing did not immediately make Qixuan filling pills, but chose some 2nd level and 3rd level healing pills to practice. 1 with 7 patterns, 3 with 5 patterns, and 3 with 3 patterns. No pill is useless. The pill that Gu Changqing refined this time is called Huiyuan pill, a 2nd level recovery pill, which is also one of the most common and popular pills on the market. Qingwu Dandy's alchemy technique is really unique. Gu Changqing has seen others refine pills, but Qingwu Dandy's alchemy technique is very different from that of ordinary alchemists. They are all Danwen level. This success rate is difficult to achieve even for a 4th grade Dan King, right? The level of alchemist is similar to that of pills, from the 1st to the 9th grade. Generally speaking, a 4th grade alchemist can be called a Dan King, and his status is no less than that of a king-level strongman, or even more noble, the 5th grade Dan Emperor. The 6th grade Dan Zun and the 7th grade Dan Emperor are similar to the realm of cultivation, but alchemists are much more noble than king-level emperors of the same level. After refining the 2nd level elixir, Gu Changqing continued to try to refine the 3rd level, and there was still no pressure. Finally, Gu Changqing turned his attention to the medicinal materials for refining the 7 mysterious rejuvenating pills. Start refining. Previously, when refining the 2nd level or even the 3rd level elixir, Gu Changqing never felt any pressure. But this time when refining the 4th level elixir, Gu Changqing finally felt that his mental power was faintly unable to support it. It's almost the limit. The reason why I can refine the 4th elixir now is thanks to my identity as a time traveler. My mental power is naturally much stronger than that of ordinary people. Of course, there is also the huge spiritual power provided by the Taichuan Sutra. The 4th level is an elixir that can only be refined by the Pill King. This means that Gu Changqing today can barely be regarded as half a Pill King. Suyuan grass, honeysuckle, Shunling root. According to the recipe, Gu Changqing slowly put the herbs into the furnace, controlling the fire with his mental power, not daring to be careless. He only had this one batch of herbs, and he couldn't fail. An hour later, done. With a low shout, the fire went out, and the pill was done. There were 4 pills in total, 2 4th level high level, 1 4th level intermediate, and 1 4th level low level without the pill pattern level. It can be seen that refining 4th level pills is more or less a bit difficult for Gu Changqing now. Fortunately, the pill was done, although it was a pity that there was no pill pattern. This was the limit of what Gu Changqing could do. After refining this furnace of Qixuan fueling pills, Gu Changqing almost fell asleep, and his mental power was consumed too much. Lying on the ground, Gu Changqing breathed heavily, and soon got up and went straight to his room. At this time, Zhang Liangxin had woken up and stood up with the help of the maid. Seeing Gu Changqing rushing in with a tired face, Zhang Liangxin immediately asked, "Husband, what have you been doing? Why are you so tired?" Gu Changqing signaled the maid to go out first, and he helped Zhang Liangxin to the main hall. Sinner, do you want revenge? Gu Changqing did not take out the elixir immediately, but asked, revenge? Zhang Liangxin frowned slightly, and naturally knew what Gu Changqing meant by revenge. Kanglan Holy Land, Mu Yanran, and her protector. It is impossible to say that she does not hate them. Zhang Liangxin is just a little cold, and she is definitely not a saint. She will never forget this hatred in her life, but Zhang Liangxin also knows how difficult it is for her to take revenge. The other party is the saint from Kanglan, Holy Land, and she is just a useless person now. What can she take revenge with? This pill is called the 7 Mysterious Spiritual Restoration Pill. After taking it, the spiritual bones in your body will be reshaped. Gu Changqing took out the pill and handed it to Zhang Liangxin. 7 Mysterious Spiritual Restoration Pill. Zhang Liangxin was from the Zhang family, a great family in the Han and Qin dynasties, but she had never heard of the 7 Mysterious Spiritual Restoration Pill. At this moment, she was somewhat confused. She knew her physical condition very well. It was not just a simple injury. Even the Pill King had no way to help her. Now Gu Changqing suddenly took out a pill and said it could heal her broken bones. Broken spirit bones. It's no wonder that Zhang Liangxin didn't believe it. It was just too outrageous. However, Zhang Liangxin still took the pill from Gu Changqing and ate it without hesitation. My husband got up early in the morning and came back panting and exhausted. I'm afraid it was related to this pill. Whether it was useful or not, it was my husband's intention. However, Zhang Liangxin, who didn't hold out any hope, swallowed the Chichuan Fulling pill. A warm, medicinal power instantly spread throughout her limbs and bones, and she felt indescribably comfortable. Moreover, as time passed, Zhang Liangxin could clearly feel that the spirit bones in her body, which had been broken into thousands of pieces, were actually beginning to reshape. Husband, this pill. Zhang Liangxin looked at Gu Changqing in shock. She never thought that even the king of pills could not do anything about the broken spirit bones in her body. But Gu Changqing actually used only one pill to make her spirit bones begin to reshape. It's too outrageous. Don't talk for now. Use your power to cooperate with the power of the medicine in your body. Gu Changqing helped Zhang Liangxin to the bed. Even if Zhang Liangxin had thousands of doubts at this time, she could only suppress them forcibly, closed her eyes, and began to practice Zhang's main cultivation method. Half a day later, Gu Changqing fed the remaining several 7 mysterious rejuvenating pills to Zhang Liangxin one by one, and the situation in Zhang Liangxin's body was getting better and better. Just like that. A day passed. Gu Changqing stayed by Zhang Liangxin's side. With a soft moan, Zhang Liangxin slowly opened her eyes. When she opened her eyes, she saw Gu Changqing waiting in front of the bed. Husband. Feeling the situation in her body, the spirit bones had been reshaped. Her cultivation level has also recovered to the first level of the tribulation realm. She was so excited that she hugged Gu Changqing and kissed him. Thousands of words were all in this kiss. Tonight is destined to be a sleepless night. Well, I was already exhausted, so I didn't want to rest now. The next day, Gu Changqing felt that his whole body was about to fall apart. Looking at Zhang Liangxin, who was lying in his arms with a happy face, Gu Changqing shook his head. It seems that I have to draw some holy bone supreme bone. Otherwise, I really can't stand it. In his arms, Zhang Liangxin, who noticed the movement, rubbed his eyes and woke up. My wife, your holy bone is too powerful. Zhang Liangxin's cheeks suddenly blushed, but soon she realized something. Holy bone. My husband, you must have remembered it wrongly. What's in my body is spiritual bone. What spiritual bone? How can a spiritual bone make me suffer like this? What's in your body is not some spiritual bone. My wife, but the real holy bone? The Xuanbing holy bone? Holy bone. Xuanbing holy bone. No. My husband, you must have made a mistake. How could the one in my body be a holy bone? Spiritual bone and holy bone. There is a world of difference between them. Zhang Liangxin naturally knew what holy bone was. Those who possessed holy bones were all great geniuses. Even the emperor's divine court would fight for them at all costs. How could the one in my body be a holy bone? If it was a holy bone. As she spoke, Zhang Liangxin suddenly believed it. Thinking of the 7 mysterious rejuvenating pills that her husband took out yesterday, Zhang Liangxin suddenly believed it. Could it really be a holy bone in my body? If it came from someone else, she might not believe it. But from her husband's mouth, she believed it instead. In her eyes, Gu Changqing is no longer an ordinary young master of a small clan. Can an ordinary young master of a small clan heal the broken spiritual bone in his body? You know, even the king of pills was helpless about this. However, Zhang Liangxin did not ask too much about the origin of the 7 mysterious rejuvenating pills and why Gu Changqing was so sure that what was in his body was a holy bone. Not a spiritual bone? If Gu Changqing wanted to tell her, he would tell her. If the husband didn't say it, he naturally had his own reasons. My wife, now that the holy bone in your body has been reshaped, you will be the future empress in the future. Can you still look down on me? A young master of a small family. Zhang Liangxin turned over and pressed Gu Changqing under her, staring at Gu Changqing with her beautiful eyes. My husband, I know you are just joking, but what I want to say is that everything I have is given by you from now on. No matter whether I am a heavenly venerable or an empress, I will always be your woman and your wife. Zhang Liangxin, who was originally cold in nature, became tender in front of Gu Changqing. If I really have the holy bone in my body, I will protect my husband from now on. I am my husband's sword. I will kill whoever my husband tells me to kill. These few simple words contain Zhang Liangxin's deep love for Gu Changqing, my wife. It's still early. How about Zhang Liangxin knew what Gu Changqing meant and pressed down on Gu Changqing with her soft body. The battle was about to start. Until the afternoon, Gu Changqing and Zhang Liangxin both got up. My wife, come. Let's fight for another 300 rounds. My husband, why don't we do it tomorrow? Dinner is fine. But you, Zhang Liangxin's words made 3 black lines appear on Gu Changqing's head. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? When I draw the supreme bone holy body or something? You will be in trouble. I'm talking about a serious battle of 300 rounds. What are you thinking about? When they arrived at the courtyard, Gu Changqing and Zhang Liangxin stood opposite each other. He wanted to try out what level his current strength was. Zhang Liangxin, who had a holy body, was just a test subject. True spirit versus tribulation realm. This was not arrogance, but confidence. The absolute confidence brought by the Emperor level skills and the Juxian sword formation. Although he was only at the 4th level of the true spirit now, ordinary tribulation realm was really not enough in front of him. A serious battle? Okay, then, my husband, do you need me to limit my realm to the 4th level of the true spirit? After the remodeling of the holy body, Zhang Liangxin, the former prodigy, regained her confidence. It wasn't that she looked down on her husband. In the same realm, she had never met anyone who could last 10 moves in her hands, even the saint of Kanglin Holy Land. When Zhang Liangxin defeated her, it only took 5 moves, even at the same level. Gu Changqing's level was far inferior to hers, only at the 4th level of the true spirit. In Zhang Liangxin's opinion, lowering her level to the 4th level of the true spirit was a bit of bullying to her husband. Gu Changqing was a little depressed that he was looked down upon by his wife. It seems that today, he really needs to let Zhang Liangxin see his strength. No, you don't need to hold back in the next battle. Don't look at my level of the 4th level of the true spirit. But you may not be my husband's opponent. Zhang Liangxin's level is the 1st level of the tribulation realm. But her strength is not much different from Gu Changqing's father Gu Yuan. After all, she is a peerless genius with holy bones. It is not difficult for her to jump 3 or 4 levels. Taking a deep breath, Gu Changqing's expression gradually became serious. Juxian sword formation. Out. Facing the peerless genius with holy bones, Gu Changqing did not think that he could defeat him with only the amplification of the Emperor level skills. It is necessary to use the immortal execution sword formation. 4 spiritual swords flew out of Gu Changqing's storage bag and landed in 4 directions of the courtyard. In an instant, the surrounding scenery disappeared, leaving only a white world. Immortal execution sword formation. Done. My lady, be careful. With a wave of his hand, a magic sword instantly appeared in Gu Changqing's hand, and he slashed at Zhang Liangxin. 3 cloud-breaking swords. 3 cloud-breaking swords are the main killing sword styles of the Gu family, although they are only of the low-level heavenly grade. After being blessed by the Juxian sword formation, the killing power has long been beyond the scope of the low-level heavenly grade. Opposite Gu Changqing, Zhang Liangxin's expression gradually became solemn. She found that she seemed to underestimate her husband, and underestimated him by more than a little bit. Moreover, this sudden envelopment. What's the matter with the light curtain in the courtyard? True Spirit level 4. To be honest, she used to face people of this level with one sword. Even if she stood there and let the other party cut her, the other party might not be able to cause any harm to her. But now facing Gu Changqing, facing this attacking sword, Zhang Liangxin actually felt a threat from him. Can a sword from a True Spirit level 4 make her feel dangerous? Even Zhang Liangxin herself didn't believe it. Zhang Liangxin didn't dare to be careless and raised her sword to fight back. Ding! A sharp sound of metal colliding sounded, and Zhang Liangxin groaned and retreated directly for Gu Changqing. This was just the beginning. Like a violent storm, the sword moves attacked Zhang Liangxin frantically. Dense and sharp, half an incense stick later. When Gu Changqing's long sword was placed on Zhang Liangxin's snow-white jade neck, Zhang Liangxin was completely stunned. I lost to Gu Changqing, who was several realms lower than me. It's no wonder that Zhang Liangxin was so shocked. Before this, she couldn't find anyone in the same realm who was her opponent. Even when she faced the Saint of Kanglin Holy Land, she only used 5 swords to defeat her. She never thought that one day, she would be defeated by someone who crossed the level. Zhang Liangxin even had an illusion that she had become weaker. But soon this idea was dispelled by her. No, it's not that I'm too weak, but my husband, too strong. Waste. Is this the waste young master of a small family as mentioned by my sister Zhang Baiwei? If Zhang Baiwei knew that the so-called waste in her mouth was so powerful that she could completely crush her, I wonder what she would think. Isn't Zhang Baiwei very lucky that it was not her who married into the Gu family, but herself? The more lucky she is now, the more she will regret in the future. My husband isn't the young master of a small family, but a real peerless genius, an existence that is more evil than herself. Now, Zhang Liangxin is a little lucky. Fortunately, Zhang Baiwei has awakened the Wu Earth Spirit body. Otherwise, her husband would be snatched away by her. In the following days, Gu Changqing began to devote himself to cultivation in Tianquan continent. Strength is respected, not only to help Zhang Liangxin take revenge, but also because of Zhang Liangxin's affairs. Gu Changqing also felt a sense of crisis. Talent and the like are all empty. Is Zhang Liangxin not talented? With the holy bone, If she grows up, she may have the possibility of impacting the emperor level, but in the end, she was also abandoned. If it weren't for Gu Changqing, Zheng Liangxin would probably be like this for the rest of her life. There is basically no possibility of reshaping the holy bones in her body. Tiangshuan continent is too big. There are thousands of realms in Nangshuan Shenzhou alone. There are many large and small sects and empires in one realm. There are so many geniuses, but how many can really grow up and step into the realm of Tianzun Emperor? Today's Gu Changqing is still too weak. So weak that he dared not pass on the skills he got from the system to his family. His current strength is not enough to deal with the crises that he may face if the skills are exposed. Of course, in addition to practicing, Gu Changqing also worked hard to make babies. There was music and dancing almost every night in the courtyard where Gu Changqing lived. If you want to become stronger, you have to make babies. Make them hard. Finally, one day, with Gu Changqing's hard work, Zheng Liangxin got pregnant. Ding. Congratulations to the host. Zheng Liangxin got pregnant successfully. Unnamed. Gender. Male. Innate fate. Burning Flame Spirit Body Orange Grade 3. Saint Body Queen Purple Grade 6. Orange Grade 3. Purple Grade 6. The novel was taken from the Rollies website. Close where you're reading it and support us on our website for more free novels. Orange qualification. The appearance of a heavenly venerable. His first son is a future heavenly venerable, although he is not a gold qualification. Gu Changqing is already very satisfied. There is no way. His wife is talented, but he is a bit of a drag. Gu Changqing checked his qualifications and found that he only had a green martial arts genius. It was all thanks to Zheng Liangxin that he could give birth to a son with the appearance of an orange heavenly venerable. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Green Fire Pill Body Golden Grade 1. Fuck! Gold is out. I gave birth to a son of the Heavenly Venerable and returned a golden qualification, Green Fire Pill Body, Alchemy Saint Body. Pill success rate plus 200%. The probability of refining Danwen level pills is greatly increased with the Green Lotus Heartfire, which can be used for alchemy and combat. The only thing that disappointed Gu Changqing was that although the returned qualification was golden, it was a pill body. It would be better if it was a martial arts physique. But no matter what, at least it was a golden qualification. Just when Gu Changqing was a little disappointed, he suddenly noticed that there was an attribute column under his son, which gradually solidified. Double yolk egg. Oh no, twins. Gu Changqing's breathing was a little rapid. This litter, it was still twins. Unnamed. Gender. Female. Innate fate. Purple Sky Eclipse Thunder Body, Golden Grade 9. Gu Changqing. Gold Grade 9? Did I see it right? The highest quality among the gold qualifications? Gold 9th grade. An existence close to red qualifications, an 8-level supreme divine body that is even more awesome than his mother's Xuanshui holy body. If the Xuanshui holy body of the first grade of gold, if the body has the hope of impacting the realm of the great emperor, then the golden 9th qualification, as long as it does not fall, will become the great emperor in the future. There is even a slight probability of impacting above the emperor realm. Gu Changqing, who was originally a little depressed because of the return of the Dandao physique, was instantly ecstatic. At this time, his body even began to tremble a little, because he thought of one thing. The first son with orange 3rd qualification returned a golden fate to himself. So, ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Chaos Sword Body Red 8th qualification. Chaos Sword Body. Supreme Sword Immortal Body. Cultivation Speed plus 2000%. Sword Technique Comprehension Speed plus 1000%. Sword Technique Power plus 1000%. Sword Realm Comprehension Speed plus 1000%. As the host realm increases, the bonus will also increase accordingly. Gu Changqing was numb. Really numb. Red Innate Fate. Ghost. If Gu Changqing remembered correctly, the highest qualification displayed by the system was red, right? Gu Changqing didn't know if there was a higher level of qualification above the red fate. But for now, the red fate and red qualification are already the upper limit of the system, the highest level, Chaos Sword Body, plus the Juxian Sword Formation. Gu Changqing couldn't imagine how strong he would be when the Chaos Sword Body and the Juxian Sword Formation were used at the same time. My dear daughter, you are really my good daughter. I have worked hard these days and almost exhausted myself to death. It's worth it. Everything is worth it. One son and one daughter. The son has the qualifications of a venerable, and the daughter will become an emperor in the future. Gu Changqing is very satisfied, and he can't be more satisfied. He has even begun to look forward to his 3rd child. Now he has a red 8th grade Chaos Sword Body, plus Zheng Liangxin's gold 1st grade Holy Body. He is no longer a drag, but the main force in making babies. Gu Changqing couldn't imagine how amazing his and Zheng Liangxin's 3rd child would be. Maybe he could give birth to a child with qualities above red.